welcome back to it, your feel-good breakfast show. It is Expresso. We're live here on S3. It's a Monday morning, the start of a brand new week. It also means that we're talking all things relationships. And this time around, we're taking it to a whole new level because we're focusing on people going on a first date. Here's a question, does the thought of going on a first date maybe make you nervous? Does your memory of the last time that you went on a date maybe make you cringe with embarrassment? If so, you're not alone. Very few people find dating simple and straightforward, even in the age of all sorts of dating apps. Now, the good news is, with the right strategy, you really can avoid some of dating's most common pitfalls, and going on a date can finally be something to look forward to rather than dread. Today, we're talking about that, and we're chatting to clinical psychologist Slindile Mbata. Later on, we're going to be catching up with people on the street to find out about their very own first date experiences. Slee, welcome to the Expresso show. It's so good to have you.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
I mean, you know a lot about relationships because this is what you do. But Slee, what is it about dating and maybe going on a first date that can elicit anxiety and fear and stress and pressure and make us sweat?
Right. Well, Thabiso, I think it's the fact that we are so vulnerable when we are going into that situation.
Okay.
It's the awareness that you're going in, you are very exposed, and of course you're being evaluated in a situation like that. So I do think that dating in general is something that elicits anxiety for so many people, for good reason. You hope to make connection, you hope for it to lead to something significant. But at the same time, you are also being evaluated on what it is that you have to offer.
What a big assessment. It really is like going for a job interview, right? Because you are having a conversation and really trying to put your best foot forward and bring so much of yourself in front of a stranger. One might think that, the advent of dating apps has made dating so much simpler and has taken away all of the stress that traditionally comes with dating. Has that happened, or have dating apps actually made it a lot more difficult?
Right. Well, I think it can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of pros to dating apps. For one, if you think about in the pandemic situation where a lot of the ways that we naturally would have met people, we weren't actually able to do.
Yeah.
So a lot of social situations, events, weddings, for instance, even work, going into work. A lot of people were working from home.
Or funerals where most people find their lovers.
That's a possibility.
Yeah,
But those situations, we were not exposed as much to those natural situations where you would be meeting people. So dating apps have been very helpful in that sense, in that you can still meet people with a lot of common interests, without necessarily having to leave your home.
Yes.
And you also might meet people from, let me say, who don't necessarily live in your immediate environment. Okay. So you get exposed to people maybe from different parts of the country.
Opens your world up.
Right. So it can open up your world. However, I do think that there are also a lot of cons, to the online dating scene.
Yeah. What are some of your standout ones?
Right. Well, I think it can be a breeding ground for things like deception, for instance.
Like the swindler.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't always know what it is that you're getting into when you are going into that situation.
Yes.
So sometimes people can put up profiles with misleading information about who they are, about actually even themselves, their physical...
The way they look, maybe, if that matters to you,
Yeah, and I also think that because of the vast number of interactions that one can be having, in terms of online dating, it can mean that you actually experience rejection so much more often than in typical social situations.
And where do you even focus? I mean, if you're chatting to like 10 people at a time, how do you really give people a fair amount of time and chance to really get to know them? In your opinion, and I've said this often to friends going out, friends going out on dates, I've often said, come on, you can't come back from one night and say, no, definitely not for me. But maybe I'm wrong. In your experience, is one date, going on that one date, enough to determine if somebody's for you or not?
Right. Well, I think that it can be. It depends on the situation.
Okay.
I think that it is important to trust your instincts.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can go out and have that sort of date where you know straight away,
not.
This is not for me. And you don't have to repeatedly expose yourself to that situation just, to sort of give a person a fair chance.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I think sometimes you can feel a little bit undecided, and it might be worth it to persist and maybe try a second interaction where you're less anxious, and you might actually get to know each other a bit better.
Oh, clinical psychologist Lindile Mpata dropping all of those tips. It really is like a masterclass on dating, and I know a lot of people looking to get into that space and really reimagine what that looks like for them are going to love this conversation. More with Lindile a bit later on.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Hey, welcome back to it, your feel-good breakfast show. It's Monday. We're talking relationships. That's the hot topic today. All about the first dates, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, and the hopeful or not. Go on to Expresso Morning Show SABC3 and share some of your worst and maybe best first date stories. I'm always on time for that. I like to hear those stories. We're back with clinical psychologist Lindile Mpata to learn more about how we can nail that dreaded first date. Slee, preparing for the date is really where the hard work seems to lie, right? Because you have to think to yourself what you're going to say in your efforts to putting your best foot forward. So, how can we build our confidence leading up to that moment?
Okay, so I think, it might be worth it to sort of have a little bit of a practice.
Okay.
Run. So what you might want to do is focus on what you know, or, kind of finding out what are some of the things that you have to offer.
Okay.
Actually, because you want to go in there feeling like, you know what, I actually know that I can connect with people. I want to know that I can put my best foot forward in a situation like this.
Yeah.
You don't want to fake it. But I think going in with a positive mindset is very, very helpful. So, if it means even doing a bit of a practice run, if you're quite nervous, doing a practice run with a friend or a family member, it might sort of get the nerves out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something tells me it's got a lot to do with just showing up very honestly.
Yes.
And because when you show up with honesty and transparency and you really are just being yourself, then you've got very little to be concerned and worried about because that's just who you are, right?
Yeah.
But we all do have, certain habits and things that, about us that we would otherwise rather not bring to a first date. What are some of those sort of topics or habits or things should we not be bringing to a first date?
Okay, so I think the most highly controversial things, it might be quite interesting, to talk about things that are hot and happening at the moment, but it might be too heated for a first date sort of situation. So you might want to steer clear of talking about things that have to do with politics, for instance, or things that are too personal, money, marriage, so those things might seem like a good idea, and you might want to know about it eventually. You might want to kind of know what a person's political orientation is. You might want to know what they think about having family and what their values are. But you may want to steer clear of some of those things in the initial
keep them
encounter.
light.
Yeah, keep it light.
Yeah.
And I think just good etiquette in general is it's just really helpful on a first date. So you want to be yourself, but I mean, manners. Don't chew with your mouth open and. So the sort of typical, of course, and it might not be obvious to everybody, that, perhaps, yes, I maintain some measure of social etiquette in the first encounter. You might want to bring everything.
Oh, the oversharers.
Yes, the oversharers.
Yeah.
So I think just keeping it light, but obviously you do want to, like you said, I think, be truthful.
Yeah. So come on, guys. You're not going on that first date and starting to tell that person about your aunt who killed her husband. She was in jail, and in fact, now the husband, hey. They're not interested in that, and I think it's not going to help you in your case. What bits of information, Slee, should we be, wanting to take out of that first date? What do we want to leave the person with, what's got to do with us, and what do we want them to also just share with us so that when you leave and you're assessing, you go, okay, this is where I'm standing here.
So I think you might want to be pragmatic, with certain things. For instance, like finding out in what area they live in, for
Okay.
example. You know, if they're very far away and that's something that matters to you, it might be difficult to maintain a meaningful relationship at a huge
Yes,
distance, then,
yes.
you know, possibly, you know, that's not something that
Yeah.
might be desirable.
Uh-huh.
But I think, you know, you want to walk away with a really good sense of, you know, what sort of person they are. What are their interests? What things do they enjoy doing? How could you engage with that person so in subsequent encounters?
That's it, because
Yes.
now you want stuff that's going to actually feed into your next experience with
Yes.
them, right?
Yes.
I love that. What do you absolutely want to make sure you leave at home before you leave for that date? Just leave that information about you at home.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you mentioned like the hot, controversial topics like politics and all those kind of things, but what sort of things do you want to just like sort of keep to yourself? Your income, maybe, what you earn?
You know,
I mean, is
yeah.
that something you should be going out and saying to people? What you do? I'm trying to get a sense of what things just not to share.
Yeah, I think talking about things like money, you know,
Okay.
it might be off limits. So talking about things like money, very hectic family situations,
Yeah, okay.
traumas, past relationships that didn't work
Okay,
out,
all right,
you
all
know,
right.
and things about that, you know, that you still maybe have residually and you want to find out if this person is similar to, you know,
Yeah.
what if you looking out for some warning signs.
Okay.
So I don't think you don't want to go in very skeptical into the new dating encounter.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely some of those things I think rather, you know, wait for later. to
Don't
find
be
out.
overwhelming me, Scott. Keep it nice. Keep it cute. Slindi Lembata, I'm loving this conversation. Thank you very much for joining us here. Weigh in, Expresso Morning Show, SABC 3.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, such fantastic laughs and such a great time here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show as we open up to some relationship conversations. Thank you very much for staying with us. We're continuing on our love and relationships discussion. Today, we're talking to clinical psychologist Lindy Lembata, who's standing, well, rather sitting next to me here with some helpful tips on how we can turn our first dates into more than just a first date if the person really is worth it. You at home can join in by sharing your best and your worst first date tips. Maybe your stories are on Facebook, #Expresso Show. Slindi Le. Okay, so how long after that first date should we be, you know, engaging with the person again and possibly setting up another date? Now, that's the exciting part now.
Right. So I think that a reasonable, you know, it should be a reasonable amount of time. You definitely don't want to wait too long.
Okay.
I think it's quite all right, but, you know, it also depends on the person. I think it's quite all right to, you know, message soon after if you really did enjoy the date.
Yeah.
And convey that interest to say,
Yeah.
you know what, I had such a great time. Thank you for that date, and I hope that we can meet again
Yeah.
sometime soon.
Yeah.
And then you might then later on, after, let's say, maybe if it's a couple of days or even later in the day if you want to, you know, message about, you know, when can we have a follow-up.
Okay.
Because I think also it can be, it is quite a competitive market. So if you don't,
Ooh, it's a
if you don't-
market.
you know, yes.
It's a market.
So I think also if you wait too long, it can send the wrong message, you know,
Okay.
that possibly you're not interested.
How do you gauge someone's interest? Because, and also whose responsibility is it to initiate the conversation around the next date? Does it rest with the person who asked for the first date to start with? Are they the interviewer who will call you, don't call them? Or how does it work?
Yeah, I think, you know, I think it's up to anybody.
Okay.
If you went on a date and you felt comfortable, you felt like, you know what, this is something that is for me, you had a great date, it's fine that you initiate.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any hard and fast rules about who should do it.
Yeah.
And I think perhaps if you do have hard and fast rules, maybe just reconsider, because
Yeah.
it could actually affect your interaction with the person if you're too rigid about your expectations.
Okay.
So if you had a good time, be honest about it and say,
Yes.
I had a great time. You don't have to think about whether or not, you know, oh, as a woman, is this right to do? Or as the person who initiated, should I then follow up?
Don't overthink it.
No,
right?
no, don't overthink it.
Every time we've watched a movie, and a lot of the chick flicks that I have seen, when a girl goes out on a date for the first time, when she gets back, it's always like, oh my word, tell me more. Did you kiss? Let's talk about that kiss. How soon or how long after that first date should you be leaning in for a frantic touch of lips and a shy goodbye.
Right. So, I definitely think this is a personal preference, but I don't know if it is such a good idea to go too hastily into getting physical during the first date or after the first date.
Okay.
So I think rather focus on creating a genuine connection, a meaningful connection, before you actually move on to physical interaction.
Yeah.
It can actually really put people off if you do it too quickly.
Yeah.
And I think, there's far less risk in waiting and actually seeing if you connect with the person. So I think in general, a good rule of thumb is that a good emotional connection should precede a physical, interaction. So don't rush into it. Don't hurry to get in with this.
And if you don't get that kiss, that first kiss on the first date, it is really not anything to do with the quality of engagement and interaction. It doesn't say anything about that. During the first date, we do often discover that the person definitely is the type of person we want to be spending some more time with or not. How then do you, if you feel like that person is not somebody you want to be seeing for more dates, gently give them that feedback as opposed to ghosting them?
Right. So ghosting is an absolute no-no.
Let's start with defining ghosting for the aunties who don't know what that means.
Okay. So for the aunties, as you say, ghosting is sort of, it's literally disappearing.
Okay.
Just
keeping quiet.
Just keeping quiet after you've established a sort of relationship with a person with no explanation whatsoever. So really, it is like flushing the person out of your life and cutting them off with no discernible reason.
Yeah, where they just don't know. Why is he not calling? Why is he not replying? You're blue ticking the person.
Yes.
And all of that. So how do you gently say to someone, I'm nice meeting you, this can't happen?
Yeah. Well,
without in a gentler energy.
Yes. So I think
Graham says you just lie to them.
Yeah. So I think you don't want to make the person feel bad about that it's something about them necessarily. Even if you did feel that it really was something about the interaction with that person that wasn't great for you, but I think rather convey that perhaps it's not the right thing for you. So if you maybe wait until the date is over and then message them just to say, what, I had a great time, but I don't necessarily think that we are compatible.
Yeah.
I really wish you all the best, going forward.
Be nice, be human.
Be human. And it helps encourage them as well, I think, in further dating interactions, that it's not, because they're a terrible person. And you just ghost them because they're an absolute no-no as a human being.
And also, I suppose it really is a process. It's a journey. It's not a destination. If you have been let down, it's not the end of the world. Really don't take it so personally. Honestly, there is so many more fish in the sea for you to try and catch. Slindile Mbata, you've been so fantastic. Slindile's contact details, I'm sure, are on your screen right now. In fact, yes, they are. Her email address there. Connect with her, and hopefully we'll see you soon, Sli.
Thank you so much.
Good luck on your dating journey.